Look, man.
Where? Oh, I see.
Wow.
Oh my.
Bowen, look over there.
Wow, is that
culture? Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong, Las Culturistas calling.
Get into it.
Mayhem in the desert.
Mayhem in the Desert merch. My favorite color, the color that works best for me and my skin tone, neon.
I can't tell if you're joking because Matt is one of our olive-toned legends, and you really must cherish this fact about yourself. You've been, can I say, as a platonic person in your life,
Here we go.
you looked really good this weekend.
Shut up.
You look
Were you looking
great.
at my photos, scantily clad? I sort of
mean,
went there in my photos.
You could have withheld from posting, and
I
yet
didn't
you
want
didn't.
to.
And one of these sort of fringe things that happens, one of the fringe consequences is that sometimes your friends go, oh,
Sometimes your friends get a little chub for you. It's actually roller coaster number 16. Sometimes your own friends get a little chub for you. Well, thanks. Awkward. Wait, can I say lucky for you though? Because I now went to weekend one. We're going to weekend two.
Yeah.
It's going to be 20 degrees colder.
in a good way.
It's going to be, yes. It's going to be in the mid 70s for my legend.
Oh.
The God said it's Bowen Yang's first Coachella. Cool it down.
Cool it down. Although, earthquake today.
Heard about this when I was driving back. Couldn't feel a thing because I was gunning it
Right.
in the HOV.
And you were bouncing on that thing that you couldn't even. Sometimes you were just boom, 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 boom.
I haven't felt an earthquake once. No, that's a lie.
That's not true. We were in Palm Springs the last time we felt an earthquake.
Felt that one. Yeah.
Mitra Johari was sitting next to me,
Yes.
and we were.
Sandy Honig was there.
Sandy Honig was there. We were stoned,
Mm-hmm.
and we were at the Tropicana eating dinner. Tropical. I'm sorry, eating dinner. Full on earthquake. And
Yeah.
I was eating like my chicken piccata or whatever the fuck, and then I was like, we were in a booth, and I was like, Mitra Johari is shaking her ass in this booth. What is going on?
Which was unlike her. She usually just sits very still and eats.
Very still and eats. And then we realized in the commotion at the restaurant that it was an earthquake.
A loco motion.
Loco motion.
Kylie was not at Coachella. She's everywhere else.
She's everywhere else. It was the New York gay night last week, the Kylie Minogue concert. And I was going to try to go, but we were at work. And
I've seen her
it's
on
all right.
accident 19 times in the last year. And that's not to say it needs to be an accident for me to see Kylie Minogue. It just so happens everywhere I am, Kylie Minogue is.
That's
except this weekend.
amazing. Oh, that's so nice. You must understand how important Kylie Minogue is.
She's important to the culture. She's invited on the pod.
Absolutely.
We would have a great conversation with Kylie. Starting with the locomotion and going all through her career. Just to speak quickly on Gaga, it was unfucking believable. You're going to have the best time. And also Charlie was amazing. I'm so excited to go with you.
I'm so excited.
But here's the thing. In order to sort of get there, we have this other milestone that's happening, which is this episode that we're doing today. I have to say, and probably the reason I do comedy is sitting across from us.
Yes!
And what an instant, what a nice, soothing soul moment that it's so easy to be around her.
I walked in, she was making coffee, stirring her mug with a knife.
It's a knife
Iconic.
when.
It's a knife win!
Period. So this is a big day, Bo.
She's already podcasting royalty.
Number one in the land.
Not even a month into the game, and she's number one in the land. Good hang on Spotify.
Hey, Joe Rogan, shut up.
Get bent over.
Cool it.
Cool it. It is fantastic, just as the title suggests. It's a good hang. We'll talk about the format because there are some innovative things. You thought you couldn't innovate in the podcasting space.
No.
You haven't met our guests.
Yeah.
Restless Leg Tour is back. One of my favorite live comedy shows in the last lifetime of mine. And my last lifetime, it's my favorite live comedy show.
The blueprint of two people doing comedy.
Literally,
There had never been anyone before.
Carol Burnett and Julie Andrews, who? That's my example. Gay man.
Julie Andrews and Carol Burnett is like, that's so funny. Like you think of them as like the comedy icons.
But we forget about them as comedy duo icons.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean?
they turned it. You know what we need to do? We need to do Abbott and Costello meet the monsters, but Matt and Bowen meet the monsters.
Yes.
I'm pitching this to Universal. Have us meet the Wolfman. I'm serious. This is a film franchise. This is Matt and Bowen meet Dracula, meet the Bride of Frankenstein.
Meet Victoria Frankenstein.
Oh, we're coming for her. Have you heard about Victoria Frankenstein, the great granddaughter of? Well, let's ask her after we bring her in.
She's a legend. Everyone, please welcome Amy Poehler!
That was like being at my own funeral.
Floating above.
Yes, I was dissociating.
Like Rise Like the Monsters. Have you heard about Victoria Frankenstein?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
We asked Tina the same exact thing in her episode.
Did she tell
we didn't
you?
mean to. Yes, and she mixed up with Lisa Frankenstein, the Diablo Cody movie.
But have you heard about Victoria Frankenstein?
Yes, I think so.
She basically...
Tell me more.
So there's the new theme park in Universal Studios in
right.
Orlando, Epic Universe, and there's the Dark Universe, which is sort of like all the monsters. And the big ride in the pre-show, it's hosted by Victoria Frankenstein, who is like the girl boss great-granddaughter of Victor Frankenstein.
Ooh.
And her whole gig is she wants to show that the monsters can be contained. And she wants to basically take you around the mansion so you can see all the monsters. And you know something goes wrong.
She's like Dom energy, like I got it covered, and then she's in over her head.
No, and this just goes to show you, like, can women dom?
We wanted to know from you.
Should women be in charge? That's what we're here to talk about.
And the answer is maybe.
Maybe. Perchance. I think because it's a theme park ride and something's going to go wrong, people are going to have a lot to say. Everyone leaving is, all those Florida people leaving are going to be like, well...
I know you guys are big theme park people. I am not theme park.
So this is where you and Tina sort of go.
In fact, Tina and I just did a show in Orlando, and she was very excited to get me to go on the rides, and I did not want to go on the rides. I'm not a theme park person.
All right.
Sorry, I know it's lame.
Don't apologize.
First of all, we are the ones who should probably take a seat.
Our guide was talking about you two.
Wait,
Sam?
okay, was it Sam?
Sam.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And he had the best time with you.
We had the best time with him, and he was really a classic. He was the perfect prototype of what you want that person to be.
Oh yeah.
Disney World is overwhelming.
Oh, it's
yes.
one
too
of
big. And too many, like too far away.
Too far away, too spread out. Just a lot of the same images kind of like being projected at you from like Plato's cave. You know what I mean? Like you're like, is this an illusion? It's not. It's real. Like, and then you have to come out. I'm
also at an age where I don't want to be shook anymore. Like, I don't want to be so shook.
This is not good.
I can't handle it anymore.
Sure.
I don't want to be shook. I don't like being nauseous. I don't like the lack of control. I don't get it definitely feels like I never get to the. It's like when people say when you get a runner's high.
Yeah.
And you never happen. That's what it feels like at those theme parks, which is like, aren't you feeling it?
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm so sorry. I'm not. I don't know. I know.
Do you know what's the thing that I never realized about all theme parks until I brought a friend who pointed it out, and then I can't unhear it every time? The music never stops. It's always and if that's how it is in my brain all the time, I think maybe we share that with Tina,
right?
But like it never stops being adventure music in my brain. So so Greta was like, it doesn't stop, does it? It never stops. I was like, oh, I guess not.
And Dratch and Tina and I were all together, and they went and had dinner at Epcot, Mexico, and I was supposed to meet them, and they texted me, and they were like, you would hate it here, don't come. And I was like, that's a real friend. That's a real friend.
I literally know where they went because those guides have a place they take us. And then there's a Neil Patrick Harris cocktail.
There's a Neil Patrick Harris cocktail.
Is it a Doogie Howser cocktail?
No, it's like a horchata thing. I tried it. I didn't love it, Neil. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just had a tequila rocks.
That's okay.
But you guys are normally so aligned on your activities on tour.
Yeah, we're pretty. We do like very similar things. We go to Bloomingdale's. We like buy a sweater. We like have we watch we got to watch the White Lotus finale in our hotel room together.
Good.
And that was really fun. And we do like simple we're like, ooh, like did you see there's like a place for croissants around the corner?
Oh.
Yes.
We'll go get one. That's about it. But yeah, this one we were not aligned.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay. But they knew that the Mexican place was not your wavelength.
That is what a real friend. Don't you feel like a real friend knows? Don't come here.
A
You're
real
not gonna
friend
like
sometimes
it.
says you're not invited for your own good. That's
Yes.
a rule of culture number 30. A real friend sometimes says you're not invited for your own good.
Well, talk about this idea. Do you feel like your life is scored? Because I'm watching The Pitt now, and I'm loving that it's not.
Love the Pit.
I love The Pit.
I got to get into the Pit.
Can I just say we wrote a parody of The Pit called The Ditch, and it was East London. It took place in Shoreditch Medical. It was just me, Ego, and John Hamm speaking in East London accents, and it was it did not do great at dress because no one understood what we were saying. So
Right.
Sometimes you got to wait for the culture to catch up. I feel like the people are just now talking about the Pit.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like TikTok loves the Pit. My TikTok loves the Pit. But I mean, look, Noah Wiley, I've been a Noah Wiley stan for 20. I mean, I watched the entirety of ER 3 times.
That was your show.
I watched it again during the pandemic, and then I watched it when it came on. I used to be doing like improv at night and waiting tables. That was it. And I would smoke a bong at like 7 o'clock and watch ER reruns.
Let's go.
Because they used to be on like TNT.
Right.
And then like go to work or go to a comedy show. And so I feel like I've known Noah forever.
Yeah, and to see him back in Scrubs has to be surreal.
Yeah, and you know, Dr. Robbie's not in Scrubs.
He's got his hoodie over the
He has a
Scrubs.
hoodie.
This is why I need to watch the Pit.
He's
I have to know what's up.
Yeah, but it's so good.
It's so good.
A bong, huh? You were for real.
I used to, that was back, you know, God, let's see, 90. I was living in the East Village, so I was 26, maybe.
Very similar
maybe
life.
Still too old.
No. Our friend Dave had a bong probably until we were 27 and then 28, and then it broke, which is the only reason we stopped using it. But I couldn't believe how high I would get to watch Homeland. Like fully Claire Danes having a very real breakdown. Like we have to get her in that chair at some point and be like, how did you survive? Because she's shaking and convulsing because of her own brain. And I'm sitting there so high, like just taking that.
Actually, when I was coming up here in the elevator, there was a nice young gentleman and a young lady.
No,
and it was Manny Patinkin, and he had a chart with all this red string, and he was showing. And it smelled so much like weed. They really, really reeked of weed, and I was like, oh. I thought to myself, oh, weed. Remember that? Like it's been so long, and I just had that. It was like nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like,
we might be hitting that developmental time now between the two of us. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I was so back this weekend at Coachella.
Oh, yeah, you were Coachella.
No, well, actually, it is. It gets, what I like now is that it's such a science now that you can kind of know exactly what it is.
Yeah, but that was a different time when I felt like I had no real responsibilities, even though I felt like my life was overwhelming. I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. So it was like, okay if I was a little stoned, but now I don't think I could handle it. No, not anymore.
No. I think my ideal trip is what you and I have connected on, which is what you've talked about in the last time I saw Restless Leg, which was going to Iceland. I forget one of your sons or both of them.
Yeah, with one of my sons.
And just enjoying, just getting high off of nature.
Yes.
How about that?
Well, I also think that I've gotten to a point where, I mean, I don't barely drink anymore, where I know it sounds super cheesy, but actually being conscious, like actually just being in the moment is like is like a high, is a win. Because I'm always future tripping, or I'm always thinking about what I just said or did. And I just feel such less personality hangover in general when I'm not altered. Yeah, so I'm not that into being altered right now.
Wow.
With like, and also I'm older, and it just like you need a lot of time to recover. And I stopped drinking right before the pandemic, and was really grateful that I didn't really do it during it. And now I'm not in a program or anything, but just like, every once in a while, maybe have a thing, but I don't really need it. And it feels very good.
Yeah. Honestly,
feels very good.
Whenever I take my like 6 weeks, I feel like, wow, this is the new me. But I have I don't know
6 weeks is a long time.
I don't know what it is about the past 2 years, but maybe it's just mid-30s where I'm just like, sobriety. Maybe. And then I'm like, and then like that all goes away.
Sure.
And I'm like, nah, not for me.
Yeah.
But I do think if I can look to the future, I can see it for myself at some point. I can see it.
Alcohol is poison. But it's okay. You know, you can have a little poison. Like just like sugar is poison. You can have sugar. It's all poison.
Yeah.
But I think especially as a woman of a certain age, you do start to feel the poison a little bit more. The poison really turns on you.
Yeah.
And you don't get the same kind of thing anymore.
No, it goes away.
Is it the microplastics in our brain as well?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bring this up.
Are you worried about microplastics?
We were thinking of writing an update about, because this thing came up in last week, this New York Times piece came out about microplastics. The equivalent of a spoon is in your head, is in all of our brains.
No, stop. The equivalent of a plastic
You guys haven't heard this? The equivalent of a plastic Dairy Queen blizzard spoon is in our brains in little granules, and there's really nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but come on. First of all, you can't tell me that we're not better off than generations ago. We drink water. How about that?
Well, that is.
They didn't back then.
We did not drink water growing up.
Yeah,
no
you're right.
one
You're right.
talked about water. And ever.
But are you being serious?
Yes. In school, no one made us drink water. No one talked about water. Water was not a thing. Like, you would go to the water fountain and you would drink, like, you would drink and drink because you were so thirsty.
You didn't realize it.
No water bottles.
No.
You didn't have, like, maybe at a soccer game they would have water, maybe. But it was like.
Or like Gatorade or Powerade, which is poison.
Never checked.
Yeah,
Never said, did you drink water? They never brought water. There was never. Now I'm obsessed with water.
Yes.
Do you have one of those jugs that says the time of day?
I did have that, but
That's good.
And it was positive reinforcement. Like, you're doing it, you're doing great, you're almost there, whatever. But now
Molly Shannon had one of those on the side of I Love That For You. And you know, she was always like, isn't it great? Isn't it great? It reminds me. I love it.
She was like, isn't it great?
Isn't it great?
Oh, you drink water too? Oh, I love that.
I love water.
Think about how great it was.
There's something that's just so great about it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
No, I have a basic bitch, like, white girl Stanley that I love because I like to sip it like a gerbil. Like, I like the straw and I like being like.
This is the second episode in a row that gerbils have come up.
Ooh.
There's something in the culture about gerbils. Like, they're
guinea pigs. Guinea pigs.
Oh, shit. Guinea pigs.
Was the last time.
Rodents at large are having a moment.
Right.
No, but that's what I'm saying is, like, when I was growing up, there was not water on the table. I'll tell you what there was.
Never.
A Coke, a Diet Coke, and a Sprite, 2 liters each.
Don't forget about milk, babe.
I was just going to say, we shared this thing. We came up when milk was king.
You were not getting osteoporosis, that's for sure.
You would chug a glass of milk.
At least.
Once a day.
They said 2. There was a time they were saying 2. It was like Cindy Crawford on the cover of Whatever the Fuck with her got milk mustache being like, if it's not 2, you're going to die of osteoporosis. And one of the things I remember my Nana saying to me when I was little was she looked me in the eye and said, osteoporosis is not fun. And I'm like, and now I'm scared.
And where is that in the culture now? Like, have we just forgotten about osteoporosis? Or
not only have we not forgotten about it, but as a woman of that age, all my friends are getting bone density tests.
Girl.
Yes.
And
DEXA scans.
And everything is coming home to roost because a couple things. I didn't know this, you get all your calcium before the age of 30, number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, if you are fair skinned like myself, you don't get enough sun, you don't get enough vitamin D. Vitamin D, you should be taking it. You're pretty screwed.
Yeah.
You guys might be okay with us.
I don't know.
But and also there's these things in LA that I'm obsessed with that I want to go to, which are like they're like salons for people who have osteopenia, which is pre-osteoporosis, where you just, you have to do heavy lifting now. Like now I have to lift weights. So you have to do a lot of weight.
Keep your bone density together.
Yes. And so you have to take your calcium and you have to do weights. And so there's like programs where it's like you do leg presses, you do whatever. And it's just designed for women my age who are smart enough to get their bone density tests. And they're like, I have a little bit of, osteopenia in my hips. I need to do leg presses.
Wow.
So I know a lot about osteoporosis.
They're penia clubs?
There's penia and osis. Or penia and porosis. So one is pre, one is you got it.
Yeah.
And there's things you can do, but you kind of like, our bones stop growing at like 18 or something.
When I started working out like more seriously a few months ago, my trainer literally said, it's great that you start now because at 35, your bone density is completely gone. And then by 37, you lose any metabolism you ever had. And I was just like going cross-eyed like, oh no.
It is wild that as a woman, you go through being like a sex object and then maybe a mother and then maybe like menopause. And then they're like, and on your way out, you need to eat 45 grams of protein a day and lift very heavy weights or all your bones will break.
If you don't turn into a monster now.
It's like and you're like, what?
What?
You're like, this can't be true. I have to go to the gym and lift the heaviest I've ever lifted.
Hey, what if we shuffled the order? What if you started off low bone density?
Yeah.
Then you become a sex or no, I think it'd be fun to end on
Sex
sex
object
object.
at the
It'd be
end.
incredible. That would
Jane
be
Fonda
incredible.
style.
That would be incredible. I mean, things are changing, but I'm sure you can do push-ups, right? So
On a good
they
day.
say women need to be able to do like 10 or 11 push-ups, real push-ups a day. And you're just like, okay.
Well,
I'll try.
It's hard.
Are you saying these are clubs specifically for
They're like-
osteopenic women?
Yeah, they're like physical therapy
That
places.
sounds like heaven.
I agree because my age, I'm the youngest, oldest person.
I see. And that
I
you
think
like
30s
that?
and 40s. Yes.
Okay.
30s and 40s are a little tricky because
Yeah.
you're like, I'm not as young as I used to be, but I don't feel old. And nobody, like old people dismiss you. They're like, you're 30, whatever. Like,
Right.
But when you're in your 50s, you're not young, right? And young people do not think you're young. No way. 50 is like a nightmare to them that wakes them up in the middle of the night. But you feel young, and old people are like, so you're the youngest,
Right.
oldest person.
I gotta say, and please shut me up if this sounds patronizing in any way. I feel like this current crop of 50-somethings is still aspirational to me.
Oh,
like,
agree.
I'm
I
like,
think
I would
there's
rather be
no-
living your life, honest to God. I would rather be going to Bloomingdale's and museums and things every day on tour than the bullshit that 30-year-olds feel.
We
pressured
just
to
did that. We had that when we were in Berlin. We went to Berghain and we were there. We went at like Saturday at 2 a.m.
Perfect.
thinking there was going to be a line. No, we soared in there,
Mhm.
like had a time. We were
Talking
there
about how
for,
with friends, acquaintances we have been in that club for 48 hours. And
yeah,
we're like,
we know people that have been there for days.
we'll be like,
you-
let's see how long we last. We left after hour 4.
it was
Yeah.
like maybe 5 or 6, and it wasn't because it was just like not. It was great. We had the best time, but we were like, oh, you know what? We'll go home. We'll catch some Z's. We'll come back later. I text Bowen. I'm like, can I say something? What if we didn't go back? What if? And then we walked to a
Perfect.
museum and walked back because we realized we had to pay. So what did we do that afternoon?
Perfect.
We walked to the museum and walked back. Didn't even go into
Didn't
the
even
museum.
go.
We
Okay,
had a burger.
I'm here to tell you that if you enjoy that now, the future is very bright.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm happy.
Because best decade yet for me, 50s by far
Really?
best decade, way better.
Mm.
And also, I have to say, to your point, Bowen, like women my age or the age of in our 50s, it used to be kind of like maiden, mother, crone. Those were the
Oh, maiden
those
mother
were
crone.
the
That's
maiden,
state.
mother, crone,
Yep.
right? and now I think that we've managed to carve out our generation. My generation has carved out a step before crone.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I'm calling it like boss or something. But it's some stage before you become like the wise witch.
Yes.
Where you are allowed to actually like, enjoy the fruits of your labor,
Yeah.
not be so beholden to like external validation, and you still like feel good.
I think it's just a full supplanting of crone. Like,
Well, there is, what crone means
Yes.
is like wisdom and, like medicine woman. But
Right.
it's a tough word.
crone is
It's a tough word.
it's a tough word, but
It is tough.
it's a word that I associate with Sex in the City.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's the theory that they each represent the 4 crones and like classical.
I didn't know there were classical crones.
There's like the 4 crones. And they were like,
Is it Shakespeare's crone?
and
No.
they- oh yeah, it might be Shakespeare.
Maybe
but
Shakespeare's
Shakespeare.
they're like
Yeah.
Shakespeare's Crohn's
cunty wise
disease.
women.
No one knew. No one knew. They didn't have the words for it back then, Amy. He was always bloated and
Yeah, we
shitting his
should
brains
rename
out.
crone. We should call it like
Slayer.
like a medicine woman. or
Medicine
something.
woman.
Diva.
Diva. Wait, diva is this extra step that you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally diva.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can
Yes.
I'm wondering something about you two though, about like you being like can't wait to get to Bloomingdale's, like, but you guys also like share the fact that for a long time you guys did entertainment's most difficult job. So did
Yeah.
you feel like that like socially also was like after that on the other side of that you were like okay you also had the kids and then,
Well, but I didn't have kids when I was at SNL, and I cannot believe the way I socialize. Like SNL is such crazy extroverted social job.
Yeah.
right
You see hundreds of people like during the week, and then you have to do the show, and then you have to host the host.
yeah you're
Yes.
hosting the host
Exactly. Then you have to go to the party, which I know is like, oh, go to a party, but it is still a work
Yeah.
function.
Yeah.
Mhm.
even as fun as it is. And I cannot believe, like, it is so much energy.
Yes.
That I can't believe I did it. I really, and I'm glad that I was younger when I did it.
I'll just never forget, because I told you this when we first met, but I was there. I was a standby kid. So I would wait on the standby lines and I would go, and then I'll never forget. I believe it was the episode that Anne Hathaway hosted with the Killers, which we talked to Seth about this episode. And that was the very first Lawrence Welk show. And then a couple weeks later on the Weekend Update Thursday, you did the Palin rap, like 9 months pregnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have never forgotten how Herculean that was of you doing that. Like, that has to feel like a highlight of doing that show.
Yeah.
Like with carrying your child almost to full term, like barking out that song next to this figure in culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it felt like a lightning bolt had hit the studio at that moment.
Thank you. That was really fun. Really fun.
It had to be.
And very exciting, and just kind of felt, it felt like there was a feeling during that whole time, because it, I mean, remember when we thought that was a crazy election? But like there was a feeling that whole time of just the audience was really paying attention. Everything was, and when you're really pregnant, giant pregnant, you have a ton of power because people are a little worried for you, but you also, and so we had a lot of fun with it. Like me and Emily Spivey, we wrote a scene about me knocking things over.
Yeah.
Emily was also pregnant during that time too. And there was just this feeling, it's kind of like Chekhov's gun. Like, is she going to give birth? Like,
wait, was it the episode? Was it Josh Brolin that hosted where it was just you moving over to him in a bar? It was just Amy pregnant as fuck.
I remember that.
Like,
yes, and he was really into me.
Yeah.
He was so sweet.
Here comes little lady.
That was the same episode.
Way.
That was the Josh Brolin episode.
Sarah Palin,
And Sarah Palin just came on Update. And she was a really good sport. And she was like, okay, sure, I'll just dance next to you. And I remember thinking, I wonder if her team has really told her what this is, but that's okay. We're going to do it. And I think my pregnancy helped. Like it was like, how can you say no to the lady?
Right.
And it was thrilling in the moment. It was really fun.
It
was really fun. And then I gave birth like, maybe like 4 or 5 days later.
Yes, I remember. He said that on Update. He was like, Amy's not here because she's having a baby.
And that was the first John Hamm episode.
Yes.
Full circle.
That's right.
He was just at the show.
And Hamm was the host.
I mean, the millionth craziest thing about that episode, which was the Josh Brolin one, is that the musical guest was Adele. Fully Adele. Like pre Adele.
Oh, like
Adele.
Chasing Pavements?
Chasing Pavements.
Yes.
And then I remember she won Best New Artist a couple months later. And I was like, well, yeah, probably because everyone in the world was watching that episode. And they were like, who the hell is she? She's incredible.
That's right.
That was a night of culture.
Yeah. And you were at that show.
I was. I went to all of them. I was addicted. And I told you this, but it was the very first time I had ever gotten in. And I was like, there was this feeling like, I don't know that it's this that I have to do, but I have to do something like this. And I was like very lost. So I went back to my dorm room and sat on my bed and like tearfully, because I wanted it so bad, like Googled you because you were the person I respected the most. And then I saw that you had started UCB and that you were in your improv group at your school. So I was like, in my head, I was like, I'm definitely auditioning for the improv group and the sketch group, which is ultimately what I got in, and started doing UCB. And it was because I Googled your name that night because of me going to those shows.
It's so nice. Thank you for saying that.
I mean, you have to know the impact that you've had on a generation of people, obviously because it's true, but also like it's just such a very real thing, especially I think on gay men. Like, you know what I mean?
You really think so?
Absolutely.
You must understand this.
Well, I thank you for saying that. I sometimes feel like I have more gay women that I get that feedback from, which I appreciate, but that's nice of you to say gay men.
The men, I think, I don't know. The men respond to this thing where, like, you are just being like your full powerful self on TV. And that is something that like we kind of have to like go about sideways in media sometimes. And we will eat our own sometimes. And so like I feel like you do figure very, very largely in that sense.
Wow, that means a lot. That's a high compliment. I mean, I feel like for me, the biggest thing that culturally that I get a lot of feedback from especially from gay men is Mean Girls.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
That feels like, especially for the millennials, felt like their version of how to interact with me more, I think, than SNL and Parks. I don't know, but
yeah, I was gonna bring up Strauss and Fairchild.
Oh,
for Blades of Glory.
It was Blades of Glory. You're right. The outfit.
There are certain press interviews that you guys did for that I watched a million times.
That was really fun. Those were like when movies, like when they were just like, it was just like money, movies.
I know.
And here's a fun story about that. Will and Arnett and I played brother and sister, but we were actually married in real life. And we, they tested that movie, and the testing, they were like, we hate Strauss and Fairchild.
Well, they're the villains. No! What do you mean? They're the villains.
Right. And I remember the info coming back like, a lot of people don't really like and we were like, well, we're the villains, you know, but to the director's credit, I think they kept a lot of it in, but that was but yeah, we did tons of photo shoots and
that was really big.
DVD extras.
But I was going to say, like, at that point we had already been like used to a Will Ferrell big comedy movie.
Yeah.
And John Heater, obviously huge, like big moment for him. But I was just so tickled as like a comedy person watching SNL every week, as someone who was like scrolling like the writing credits for The Simpsons. Like we were like those kids.
Mm.
Like it was just thrilling to see you and Will in a film like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always, always remember just you as Marilyn and him as JFK. Like,
also, first of all, I was walking in today. I was like, who am I dressed like? And I was like, I'm dressed like Will in Night of the Roxbury.
Oh my God! Yeah,
I kind of have like a
paying
Will.
homage to our producer Will.
Yes, I have. Yes, I'm paying homage. Funny story about that movie. We had to learn how to ice skate.
right.
And I knew enough to know I'm not going to be doing a ton of ice skating in this movie. You know, they had incredible body doubles and face switcheroo technology, and they had really good ice skaters having to do things. And I knew, I was like, I think if I could just fake it from the waist up, I'll be fine.
You went like this at one point. I was just like, the fact that it was so green screen, I loved it.
Eyes up here. But they had an incredible professional, like ex-Olympian ice dancer, coach, performer coaching me. Again, it was a time when movies were like, and I was on SNL.
Yeah.
And so on the weekends and in the mornings, I would have to go to Chelsea Piers.
Oh my God.
And ice skate. And I remember she was this really, I'm sorry, I forget her name. If you're listening, you were awesome. But I would do that thing that I learned early when I wanted someone to not do something, where she would sit, we'd have our coffee in the morning. I knew we only had an hour. The clock would be behind her. And I'd be like, wait, what's going on with you? And she'd go, well, we have to get out on the ice. And I go, I know. We have to train.
Oh.
I'd be like, but how is your daughter? Like, and I would try to get her to talk, and the clock would just tick away. And I'd be like, please, because it was so hard to learn.
Because you were bone tired between shows.
Bone tired. And also, I knew it. I knew I didn't have to know it that well.
Exactly. You're like, it's gonna be this.
It's gonna be waist up. We're gonna be on wires.
It's gonna be Marilyn with the pills.
And I'm never gonna get it. Yeah. And at one point she said to me, you know, if at any point something's hurting, make sure you tell me to stop. We were like practicing.
You're like, ow.
Well, I was like, I will.
Yeah.
I was like, I am not an athlete. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna play through the pain.
Yeah, no.
I am not trying to get a medal here.
No.
So I can kind of ice skate, but not that well.
Did you do sports in high school?
I was did a bunch of sports moderately well. Like good trash talker, like out on the field, played softball, played soccer, like a little basketball, like just kind of was like the mouth. But it wasn't
team
particularly
captain
good.
energy is something that I would ascribe to you.
Thank you. I was really good at keeping the team up.
There you go.
And really good at like knowing where the play is. Like a lot of like plays at second, you know, like that. But didn't really have the skill. Small, didn't really have an arm.
You're talking about softball?
Yes. And it's amazing that I'm not gay, because every picture of me during that time
looks kind of
like
gay.
The cutest like
little
baby lesbian.
Oh, yeah.
But we all did back then. We all did in many ways.
Right.
But played softball. Yeah, but like not a jock.
Yeah.
Right.
And then she was a cheerleader sometimes too. Just kind of a floater, to use a Mean Girls term.
No, that's great because I feel like there's something about young people now where they are struggling with finding people, just socializing in general. It's a COVID thing. It's like, but it's like what you want to tell them is like, oh, is it like an osteoporosis thing? Like it's like a calcium thing. You have to start early and like get the whole sportsman thing going.
I think to learn how to collaborate in any way, I think it's important to be, not to do sports, but to be involved in activities like that.
Yeah.
I just think, I don't know, it was a different time where you could be okay at softball and play in your local softball league for a long time. But now you have to be like on a traveling team and it's very intense.
Oh yeah.
And parents are involved. Parents have ruined a lot of things. Like when parents show up, they kind of ruin things. And my generation, my parents, no one went to anyone's, like occasionally went to a game, but there were no like adults taking things over.
Oh.
So there was a lot of like, everything was a little less stressful. It was, you could try a bunch of things and it wasn't necessarily your identity.
Right. I imagine you have not been dom parent in that context with your kids.
I feel like I'm trying not to be. I feel like
you're not showing up to the things that in a way that is like kind of all right.
It's some people it's their identity,
right?
Like they're living through their kids, I guess. But which I mean, you have to be supportive. But
how old are your kids now?
They're 14 and 16.
Okay, those are you got teen boys.
Yeah, I love teens.
You breaking towels in half?
I love teens. I'm here to say it.
Stop! Gross!
Don't tell me that I'm gross. Like, those boys are gross.
Stop it.
I love teens.
I know what they do.
I love teens. I'm here to say the teen years have my favorite years.
Yeah. Are they? Why? Is it because they're kind of like riding hard for you right now?
They're just like interesting people.
Yeah.
And also their friends are kind of interesting. And you're like, oh, this is what this is like the black diamond of parenting. This is where it's coming in and you're having big conversations. They're making choices. You're trying to keep them safe. It's people like focus on the youngins, like the baby stuff and the youngins. But I don't know. There's something. I think I'm good with teens.
Yeah. There's it's black diamond. It's moguls. Got to either right on top or right around. Is this tied to, because I've always thought of you as this aspirational TikTok person because I'm like, well, I need to get on TikTok because I feel like there are people out there like AMY POEHLER who are like, it's cool, I like it there.
But I feel like you were on TikTok almost first when you were lip syncing. And then you came in, you dominated, and then you like left. Like
but you know what? That wasn't TikTok. We were so ahead of the curve on Instagram.
That was Instagram?
We had so many viral things.
Pre-TikTok things that would have taken off on TikTok. Now, I know this sounds so cloying and obnoxious, but it's true. Like Matt and I would like start like song like
we had tunes.
Yeah.
We would start
Bear
like TikTok
people.
songs, Bear People, if you know what we're talking
You
about. You know.
Four Nights in Orlando, which was our American Horror Story.
But every episode was 15 seconds long.
Every episode was 15 seconds long in Orlando. We would be on about a metric ton of edibles. And we would
shoot like horror anthologies at Disney World.
Oh my God.
It's out there.
It is out there. If you go deep in the Instagrams, they are there. But
what was the horror anthology called?
Four Nights in Orlando.
And then it was like 4 Nights in Orlando Hotel, 4 Nights in Orlando Gay Ghost, 4 Nights in Orlando Witch War. Witch War was our best one.
Witch War was our best one.
We always say that was the most satisfying one when you watched it all together, and also you could see so many Easter eggs.
And you can't find that? You can't put that back out on TikTok?
No, I tried, and it didn't really.
And Las Culturistas is huge on TikTok.
Right, but
we do pretty good, actually.
That's our lovely social team. I feel like we could put it back on TikTok, but there would just be that 2014 patina on it where you'd be like, ew, I don't want to watch anything from that time.
I feel like more and more, I mean, even starting this podcast is a good example of that. I'm getting a little less worried about whether or not my timing is right. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, you can't worry about that.
So I feel like if you want to do it, I feel like you can do whatever you want. If you want to, if you don't want to do it, certainly don't.
Right.
Do whatever you want, anytime you want.
It seems fun.
Yeah, it should only be fun.
It is fun, and there was a time when I was even doing like the challenges.
Yeah,
like I just looked through it, and it was, it's just like me. One time I did a totally earnest TikTok to Taylor Swift's song
Great.
Paris.
Great.
It was earnest. I deleted it because
We're post-cringe. We're post-cringe.
Well, we've
post-cringe.
climbed Cringe Mountain. Have you heard about this? It's
No.
so major. Once you climb Cringe Mountain, then you get to the other side and you're at Nirvana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's where the power lies is post-cringe. I mean, you learn that with comedy a lot. You have to you can't be embarrassed. Like
You have that. Like, do you have the moment in your career that you're like this? I climbed Cringe Mountain at this point.
Yeah, a Cringe Mountain is far behind me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't worry about that at all because it's like, I mean, because basically you survive a ton of embarrassments, like death by 1,000 cuts. You just realize I'm okay. It's okay. And then you realize that like actually the longer in your career, you should be taking more risks and trying new things. And you should be like a little nervous and a little excited.
Yeah.
And the minute you are afraid about being cool, you're screwed. You're totally screwed.
It's so true. And it stops you doing things.
It does. And everyone is so obsessed with themselves. It's okay if you are like, I don't know. I would so much rather somebody be a little tenderoni and make a cringy mistake than the opposite. Like when people are really cool, I'm like, oh, honey. Like when they're trying to be very cool, I get so stressed for them.
I know. It seems really exhausting.
Easy. It's not easy out there.
Right.
But it's the same way with like hosts at SNL. Like a host that will come in and will be like kind of open face sandwich. You'd be like, I'm nervous or whatever. Or like I'm gonna try, and they give your sketch their all, and you're like, I love you
Thank God
forever.
for you. Yes.
But when someone who's trying to be cool, you're like,
I can think of the people.
And the coolness, it's a protective shell. So you kind of feel for them. We've all been there, but it's so fleet. Like what is cool?
Right. That is, I think it's not defined. It actually never was.
I mean, you guys do kind of define it in the, you do,
Amy.
guys, you do kind of define it. Like your list is basically, and why I'm going to say this, the reason why you define it is because your list is about not being cool.
Right.
But it is the coolest list in the world.
It takes the piss out of the list in the first place.
Yeah. And it reminds you that we're all dumb humans. We're dumb.
Do you want to know what it was? I think for me in high school, I don't know about you. Did you guys have friends that made fun of you constantly in high school? Like I allowed myself to be the butt of the joke a lot. They made fun of me for the way I held a fork. They made fun of me for the way I wore a hat. They made fun of me because I couldn't see colors. Like I was constantly getting ribbed on by my friends. And I think it made me realize like, well, I'm not cool and shouldn't try. And then years later, I remember someone said, yeah, you're a cool person. Like people think that. And I was just like,
No.
I don't think, and don't tell me that because that will get me in my head. I think the key is just like always being surrounded by people who are a little bit like this.
Yeah.
And I
do that. I do that all the time, Matt.
That's
you know what
a
I
love
mean?
language.
You need people to rib you.
Well, I think it's a very East Coast thing too.
I would agree.
It's a very East Coast thing. Like the more I like you, the more I'll tease you.
Yes.
It's like it is like a safety thing. I mean, within reason. Like you don't want to be bullied.
No, don't hurt my feelings.
But like manners are for people we don't know.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? That was actually an unspoken thing. Especially with my first ever. This is lame. Not really. My first ever ensemble I ever felt like I was a part of was my friend group in high school.
Yeah.
And our thing was we always ripped the shit out of each other.
Yeah. There's nothing more satisfying than when you can tease someone with love.
Yeah.
And they tease you back and you're like, oh, this is intimacy.
Is that how you and your friends are?
100%. Yes,
100%.
that was Boston all the way.
Yeah. And then through SNL as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like even hard. Because when you tease someone the right way, it also means that you see them.
Yeah.
Like you feel seen.
Right.
And it's the most delightful thing when someone can you're talking about someone, you're like, I'm so tired. And someone's like, you are? We couldn't tell, you're like, you just feel so delighted.
He knows I'm tired all the time. Woo!
But are you downloading this into the boys at all?
I'm trying to, I think I'm trying to just kind of, but here's the thing about teens.
They don't want to be told.
No downloading.
No downloading.
You go from producer to consultant.
Oh.
And that is not my line. That is someone else's line. Someone else said that. But you go from handling your kid's life over and scheduling their play dates and getting their stuff and getting and making their lunch, all this stuff that's you're in charge, to being I know you didn't ask me, but what I would do is you have to just stand back. You almost can't tell them anything.
Yeah. Right.
Because think about it, when your parents would say something at that age, it would just be like, shut up. So you do the, I don't know, there's a really good technique. I'm super into it. It works for people too. But where you just repeat back to them what they said to you. So I hate my teacher. You hate your teacher. Yeah, because she doesn't listen to us, and she's always like giving us assignments we don't like. She's always giving you assignments you don't like. Yeah, you just don't say.
And it kind of keeps pulling the thread until it loosens.
Pulling the thread, and they talk to you, and they're not looking for you to fix it, and certainly not to give advice.
No.
Barf. Like, what you should do, or, teachers are really like, they're working really hard these days or whatever. They just want to say it to you.
Even adults don't want to be told.
Agree. I did it for a year. I was trying a thing where I would only give advice to people that asked for it. And no one ever asked.
You know what's funny? I'm
no
almost
one ever
never
asked.
asking for it, and I still have friends. There are certain friends, and I feel like it's conversations I have to have where it's like I haven't realized it will be really easy to change a dynamic in our friendship if I just tell them I don't need advice. I think I have a therapist for that. Like I don't need prescription.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like when people give me prescription, it's I'm not good anymore maybe at a certain point I was when I felt like we were all like in our 20s or something and figuring it out. But it's like I do sometimes just need to externalize my feelings. Because maybe it's because I've realized how well therapy works. Because what you're talking about is therapy technique. All your therapist does is facilitate you speaking to yourself.
Right.
And then you hear it and you're like, I've heard it out loud finally.
It's Brene Brown, walk alongside. Not like face the person and say this is what you should do. It's like they just want to be told that meme of hey, I'm not reading all that. I'm so happy for you, or I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah.
It's like they just want to be told, great, or I'm so sorry.
And the other side of that is I'm really egotistical about my advice. I think I have great advice. So I not only don't want advice that I don't ask for, but I like to offer advice that nobody asked for. And then I get a little butthurt when they don't take it.
I see.
Right.
I'm like, you didn't take my advice? Like, that's solid gold advice.
Yeah.
And then my therapist was like, why are you giving advice to people that don't ask for it? That's precious advice that you can't just give out willy-nilly.
Right.
Like, be respectful of your own advice.
Yeah.
And
value it.
You can value it. And you can even say, like, are you open to advice? And if they say yes, you go, if I give it, do you think you'll, like, treat it like I'm like, this advice means something to me. Would it mean something? It's like a lot.
Can we ask you for, like, do you have any advice for us?
Yeah, give us advice.
My God, I have such little advice for you.
No, come on, tell us.
Okay, in what area? Can you ask something specifically about, or just life advice?
I want like all of these things at SNL that I feel like are not compatible in terms of like lifestyle things of like dating and like having a dog and like all of these things.
Yes.
Maybe the advice is it's just wait it out until you finish one thing.
Well, I think you're so ahead of the game by realizing it's something that you want.
Oh.
Like, I think just even knowing what you want, you're ahead of the game.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, look what I want. Because sometimes I think life is an arrow pointing you to what you want. So like by not getting it, you're like, oh, I'm really missing that. I want that. That's interesting. Thank you, SNL, for pointing the arrow to what I want. And I think my advice would be in that to like just keep, maybe try to imagine that it's not binary. It's not like you either have it or you don't. You can't have it there. You can't. Like the can'ts and shouldn'ts and maybe nots isn't like there's a lot of space in between.
Yes.
That not being a place where you could have it and a place where you could have it.
I'm receiving that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mine's really specific. I need like a moving company.
Oh, I have a great one in New York.
I need like some people to box some stuff up.
Very good. So my advice there would be don't lift a finger.
I won't.
We're
right here.
You're doing well. You have enough money. Thank God. Very lucky. and take your privilege and get
we
somebody.
ran through my bank account before we started. She knows all my financial stuff. I made
and
sure
get somebody to pack everything up for you.
Yeah.
But do one pass and go through and grab anything, a document, anything that you would sob over if it was lost.
Yeah.
Now, I mean sob, not like I love this chair, I love this whatever. Like go through and go, if this got thrown in the ocean by accident, would it ruin my life?
Right.
Get those things out. Everything else, let them pack it for you.
Wow.
You know what's crazy is I'm realizing that stuff is less and less and less. Stuff means less to me now. Even like sentimental things, which I felt like, oh, shouldn't they mean more to me over time? I think as I get older, I realize just things are things.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre. Like we were playing this game at Coachella the night before the festival. We were doing like the newlywed game with each other, and one of the questions was, it was for me to answer, what would he grab if he had to grab one thing, if the house was like, it was an earthquake, on fire, whatever it is, a disaster. And I sat there and couldn't think of one thing I could take.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, my dog Bill, my partner David. And I was like, oh, I guess it's just because I don't have any of those like real things. I was like, and I wrote down a lot of phone chargers. I just would grab all the chargers because you never can have enough.
Right? But that's good. You might not be attached to things. That's very healthy.
Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I think that is changing about
That's good.
That's very good. There's a thing called Swedish death cleaning. I produced a show about it, which is all about
Swedish death cleaning.
The gentle art of Swedish death cleaning, which is the Swedes believe one of the things that you can do for your family is you can clear out your stuff before you die. Like, they want less stuff.
Right.
And why not give your stuff away while you're still vital and alive, and tell people why it means something to you so they can get to know you. Because what happens in the States is people die, they leave all this stuff, then you go through your like grandfather's papers and you're like, he was, he played the tuba? Like I didn't even know or whatever. And so let people know you while you're alive, but it's all about minimizing and getting rid of stuff. And so maybe you're kind of doing that along the way.
Yeah, maybe.
Very Swedish.
Is your brother still there?
Yeah, he lives in Sweden.
Oh, cool.
I know, so cool.
There was a Smart Girls thing where he was just playing basketball, and I was like, that seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, my brother is the coolest. He's a really funny writer and performer, and he moved to Sweden. He met a woman who lived in Sweden. They got married, they had a kid, and now he's been there. God, must be almost 20 years. He's like a full expat. He lives outside of Stockholm and speaks Swedish. I know, it's so cool.
I'm really trying to find a husband with another passport.
Oh yeah.
Like I do think it's time.
It's time.
And weirdly enough, this is a pattern. I've been going out with a lot of guys that weirdly are also from another country and are sober.
Ooh, I like that for you.
That's really good for you.
Isn't it weird?
I like that for you.
I'm not even trying to date sober guys, and I'm not trying to date guys with like dual citizenship, but it keeps happening.
What country would you like to? Let's just put it out there.
I mean, I guess Canada or England.
Okay.
And you know what I mean?
There are people.
There are people.
There's people out there. Listen, I'm talking specifically to people that live in Toronto and in London, I suppose. We were in London and it was so great.
Right, but be careful with that London weather. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
That London weather is like Sweden. They're on the same longitude, latitude, and it is dark. It is a dark, cold country. So just be aware.
I do well with the overcast. You know what I mean? I don't really.
You're right.
You're not a sun boy. You're not.
I'm definitely a sun boy, but I've had enough of it. It's like I grew up on Long Island, and I'm a child of the beach and the sun. Yeah. And so now I'm kind of maybe I've had enough for my life.
I love a UK guy for you.
I think so.
With a scarf and everything.
I don't know about the scarf.
You don't like the scarf?
I could do a scarf, I suppose.
You're good with the scarf.
Like a scarf and an overcoat?
Overcoat, certainly. I see. When you said scarf, my mind went to ascot, and I do.
Oh,
see,
no.
Can I say I do see some people out there trying to bring back the ascot, and I'm not ready for that.
That's okay. That's
like a winter, like a Jude Law winter look.
Listen,
what's the guy's name?
I love a winter look.
The guy that did all the movie, like a Richard Curtis, Jude, coming in from the cold.
We met at the Oscars.
We did meet Richard Curtis.
Richard Curtis at the Oscars.
Oh, that was special.
Just a gentleman shaking off the snow off his overcoat.
Yes. Oh, that's good. Okay, now I'm upset that it's going to be spring and summer because my favorite time to date is the fall and the winter.
Because it's cuffing season.
Because but I never cuff. My thing is like, I just like to be dressed up for a date. And also maybe it's like you're less self-conscious of what your body is doing.
Right.
This is the dysmorphic part.
What I project upon you that I want for you is a gentleman who's maybe a little sober or whatever, just like he's just like, he's not the main character.
Okay.
He's the one that's like, he's just like, look at him go.
I do think I do need that.
Do you subscribe to Flower Rock?
Flower gardener.
Flower gardener sort of duality in relationships.
Say more.
Like one person is the flower, they need to be watered and gardened, and one person is a gardener and they kind of, that's what they do. It can't be as simple as that, but that is a dichotomy thing that people sometimes think about.
I think that's interesting because I would say for you, you're an extroverted person. Right?
Yeah.
Probably secretly more introverted than we think.
An
extroverted person who I think it would be nice for you to have like a British Jude Law looking gentleman who has the taxi waiting while you work the room.
Has the taxi waiting.
Yeah, has the taxi waiting.
And
I love
like,
someone that wants to leave.
He's like, ready to go, love.
Yeah, like I'm ready to go, love.
Ready to go, love.
Oh, that rocks.
Yes. There's actually nothing less to me sexy than someone who doesn't know when to leave a party.
Oh, yeah.
It's a problem when someone can't leave a party because they're just kind of waiting for the thing that's hasn't happened yet to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. And it won't happen.
It won't happen.
No.
And also, I'm the part. Like,
hello.
Like, what are you waiting for?
Exactly. I'm the party. Title of
I'm the party.
I'm the party.
Wait, we have to ask the question. So this is the question that we ask all of our guests. AMY POEHLER, this is, what was the culture that made you say culture was for you?
Okay, well, you are my favorite podcast, so I've thought about this a lot.
This is wild.
I love
is that
this
true?
podcast. I love this podcast. And I thought about it a lot, and I didn't want to overthink it. But I have to say, for me, growing up, there was a woman who I just related to. She just felt very strong. She had a really specific POV. She kind of asked for what she wanted. She always had good jokes. And that woman was Miss Piggy.
Oh! You know that she might be coming on Las Cultch.
She might be a guest on this very podcast.
We are obsessed. She's one of the top icons.
She, at a time when women were told to be, seen and not heard, she took up space.
Mm-hmm.
She was very body positive.
Yes.
She was, at times a little violent. We'd maybe correct that now. It was
almost always in self-defense.
I completely agree. She often saved the day.
Yeah. She often saved the day.
She said what she wanted. She was like one big intrusive thought. And if you suffered from those, like I did as a kid, you were like, I can't believe she said that out loud. She was always funny.
Yeah,
always.
She had really good jokes.
Yeah, she did.
Kermit loved her.
Obsessed.
She was the only person in A Muppet Christmas Carol who stood up to Scrooge.
You believe it? What? I what? Whenever she goes, oh my God! It is
respectful of martial arts culture, respectful of Eastern culture.
Oh, yeah,
okay, that if you say so.
I'm here to tell you.
I don't know. Okay, I'm happy to hear
Don't worry,
that.
you can enjoy Miss Piggy's hayas.
Yes, her hayas.
It's done respectfully.
And she was such a funny character.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Funny.
I mean, she was
funny.
outsized diva who demanded that she get her shine.
Yes.
And what was always great was it always would the budget they would blow out for her sets and everything, and how disastrously it would go wrong. But yet she still came out on top.
Oh yeah.
And she was allowed to keep failing. She was a woman in Hollywood that they let keep flopping.
And look, do I think that at times they wanted to it was the 70s, right? It wasn't perfect. So at times Miss Piggy almost felt like, oh, she's a cautionary tale of someone who's but the audience did not feel that from her.
No.
The Muppet Show, when it would come on and it's time to get things started and the song would start, as a kid, I was like, this is Hollywood.
Everything.
This felt like this was, I didn't know anyone that was an actor or writer. I'd never seen anyone famous. Something about the Muppet Show was like, there is a place where my jokes and what I like is going to live. And it was get ready for the show. It's very SNL.
Very,
I was
gonna say,
was it your pre-SNL SNL?
It was my pre-SNL.
Yeah.
Because my generation of SNL, the people I was 10 when Eddie Murphy joined SNL, and I was 14 when it was Dana Carvey and Jan Hooks and Phil Hartman. So that was, But the Muppet Show was the first feeling of there's a show about to be put on.
Yes.
And Miss Piggy was the star of the Muppet Show.
Yes, she was.
She was the star. She told everyone what to do. And Kermie couldn't resist.
No.
I mean, he was a little shy, and she kind of probably spoke for him in a way that I think he liked.
Well, thank you for putting some shine on Kermit too, because Kermit, I think, was also just as valuable of a masculinity comp.
Yes.
That as Miss Piggy was a femininity sort of example.
They flipped. He was kind of a soft boy.
Yeah.
Also, though, during that time, we also had people like Alan Alda and MASH, right?
Yeah.
Who was like so nice.
Yeah,
even though he was
Sweet.
so sweet. We had some sweetie pies.
Yes.
It wasn't as masculine all the time as people think. Like the 70s, there was some like groovy, like, dads, or even like Michael Landon, who was like tough, but like loved his daughter and was kind of sweet. But Kermit was very in touch with his feminine side.
Yes.
It sounds like you have feelings for Kermit.
You know why I love Kermit?
It.
Kermit was a peacemaker.
Yes.
Kermit was a peacemaker. And as I get older, I'm drawn to people, men especially, who are looking for peace.
Oh, yeah. All I want to do is feel calm.
Me too. I want to feel calm. I want to feel safe. And I don't. Conflict used to be the way. I'm an Enneagram 8. Do you care about your Enneagram?
Oh, I'm a 7.
That's right. You're 7. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What are you?
4.
A 4?
Yeah.
Bowen. Oh,
Yeah. Wait,
that's
what?
so hard.
What are you
no one
thinking?
understands you. It's very
fine.
hard to. No, 4s are like special. They're like special romantic.
Yeah.
4s are dream maker.
Yeah.
Like that makes artists.
Remind me, 8.
Challenger.
Yeah. Oh.
So I used to think conflict was and it was often how I got intimate with people. Like,
Yeah.
and now I want more peace.
I see.
And 7s are so much fun.
We exhaust ourselves.
Yeah, 7s
and
are,
require a lot.
but they're so fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because and then I looked at the results and it was like, whoa, I didn't stand a chance. I was such a 7. Like I was thinking like, oh, I don't know. These answers aren't going to all go together. It was like, you're a 7
Down.
the house down.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I get that. It's funny, like as I get a little bit older, like I'm also, I don't know if you ascribe to the astrology of it all, but I'm also like a triple water sign, double Pisces, Cancer moon, which is like that, and a 7 is like, oh, he gonna take up a lot of space.
And also you're just going to be kind of like, what's the next thing? Like you're definitely for the adventure.
I'm a consumer. Sudi used to say that about me all the time.
You
that
like
I like
beautiful
to be
things.
excited.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can get me in.
God,
I know, yeah.
That I have a lot of 7s in my life. I love them. For those that you don't care about Enneagrams, whatever, but they're enthusiasts. They're
enthusiasts. Yes.
They love things and they love having fun. But a 7's always like, you're like, let's go do this thing. And they're like, is it going to be fun? And you're like, I mean, I guess fun. Fun is important. Newness is important.
It's interesting to be the kind of person that's like seeks excitement and seeks like to consume things and have experiences, but then also have like an anxiety creep up.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's when you get in your head with a lot of like judgment. That's why I want to be calm. It's because I just want someone who's just gonna be like, it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's you know what? Like this experience is gonna be what it is, and then it's gonna be over, and then we're gonna have another one tomorrow.
Yes.
But I am sort of waiting, and I do think I haven't really said this on the podcast yet, but I am fully moving back to New York. Like I finally bought my first place.
Yay!
And so like I think that will be a place
awesome.
where I can like root.
Yeah.
Because I am looking for that. I think I deeply feel like my next step is to just feel like I can sit down and be comfortable in a place. And like that would be nice if someone could be a part of that, like
10
anchor.
toes down.
Yeah,
Yes.
10 toes down vibe. But it's interesting that you say all that stuff because feeling calm is something I never thought I wanted.
Yes. Same. I always thought like that my thing was to challenge and buck the system and kind of like push and push. And now I really feel lucky that I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are not that way, who are like more peaceful and peacemakers and kind of like a little bit like, it could be this, it could be that. Like for me, for the longest time, being definitive and like certain and decisive
Yeah.
was like safety. And now I'm like, luckily a little bit more like, I don't know. know.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's interesting because one of your, like, I would say defining comedic and like public traits is your energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I would imagine, I identify with this, that sometimes when people like interact with you, they feel like they also need to bring a lot of energy. And then there you are meeting that. And all of a sudden, you exhausted girl. And like, you're like, wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Where was I in that?
Oh,
I was definitely talking.
Yeah.
But what was I saying?
Oh, yeah.
It's but it's you bring what you get you know, praise for and credit for and like notices for, especially at a place I would imagine coming up through comedy and like, you know, having to make your way like and being one of one in many ways, and then getting to SNL and then having to like, I know it started really well for you pretty much. Like you kind of hit the ground running, and then when you were in the main cast, like kind of right away, right?
Yeah, pretty fast, yeah.
So everything was happening really fast, but you probably had to give it to
Oh
get
yeah,
there.
you know, we were like, you know, it was a different time where there was less women. You had to kind of, you know, for those that are not watching, I'm swinging my elbow.
She's swinging her bows.
But you bring up something that's so true, which is I feel like, and getting back to like your 50s and osteoporosis, but I'm all about practicing my backhand. That's my new phrase, which is my forehand has served me so well. I've made a lot of shots. I feel really confident. I'm very, very grateful for what it's gotten me. And now it's time to practice my backhand. What is the thing that I don't really always give as much attention to or practice to? And it's exactly that. It's not depending on my energy to be the way that people connect with me, or like, or that like sparring or conflict is going to be the way in which I can get something done, but just like be a little bit more watery and a little bit more.
How can you communicate? It's thinking about how you can communicate subtextually, rather than literally or super textually, where you're just like, I'm gonna communicate what I think by saying it, and right, something like this where it's like,
well, this is a very answer you're giving right now, because
I'm being such a
no, because you're right. You're saying like, how can you're coming from a feeling place.
Yeah.
And I'm coming from an action place.
Yeah. And that's a challenger thing. That's an 8.
Yeah, so the 4 is like, how can I express my feelings or have these feelings differently? And it's like, what can I do differently?
Yes.
And our work is to like, and I'm so sorry if this is boring for anybody.
No,
but our work is to feel more.
Yeah.
And your work is to do more.
So,
less feelings, more doing. And mine is more feelings, less doing.
Is Piggy an 8? Is Miss Piggy an 8?
I think she is definitely an 8.
I think
Miss Piggy is kind of an island. She is definitely an Enneagram. That would be fun to do that with all the Muppets.
Well, Fozzie Bear is a 7.
An enthusiast.
I think so.
I think Kermit's a 9. He's a peacemaker.
Yeah. Well, he has to be to hold the center of that place.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys.
Yeah. So,
wait,
maybe Kermit's my man.
Kermit's your man.
Maybe I need to fuck Miss Piggy up. When she gets here, I'm going to be like, listen. Although I think they broke up. Didn't they break up definitively?
Well, remember the ABC show? They introduced that new pig girl.
Oh, what?
That pig woman.
I don't know this.
Do you remember
like that at all.
there's that new pig woman?
Oh no!
And she was swooping in and trying to pick up Kermit, and the internet lost their mind. They were like, "Get the fuck away from him!"
Yeah, she needs to get the fuck away.
She never stood a chance against Miss Piggy.
I gotta watch this. I did not know that. And do you also remember how? I mean, public television is so great. Sesame Street. Do you remember when Sesame Street? When I was growing up, there was a character called Snuffleupagus.
Yes. I think he's still there. Yeah.
But then they took Snuffleupagus away because it was frustrating kids.
Yeah, because why couldn't they see him?
And I was like, ugh,
wait, but who said this? Didn't they say
someone said that they took him away because some kids, especially in the 80s when child abduction was a thing, they were like parents would like, it was that like they wouldn't believe what kids were saying.
Yeah. Like on the show, a kid didn't feel believed.
Right. And like it was at a time when you needed to trust what children were saying. Like, I saw a strange man at the side of our street, you know? Like,
this is crazy.
There's like a lot of implications when it comes to like PBS and children's programming.
Did you ever get to go down there to Sesame Street and
interact?
I did.
I got to do something with Elmo, which was really cool.
What did you guys do together?
We did like a word of the day or something.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, you know, and when I loved growing up, we had an Oscar the Grouch alarm clock.
Oh, I like Oscar the Grouch.
Me too.
I love Oscar.
He's a great resource.
Larry David owes a lot to Oscar the Grouch.
Yes.
And the alarm clock used to start with, it's going to be a lousy day. Wake up. It's going to, and it was such a Gen X alarm clock. Like you could never do that now, but yeah, I love him. I mean, I that whole Jim Henson world, I have to say, it has permeated most of my life because it, also was in the beginning of SNL, but just like those Muppets and puppets are everywhere in my psyche.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We got to send up a prayers up. What the heck was that?
Oh my God, that was Miss Piggy squealing.
Miss Piggy's here. Her
she's
ears
gonna
were
maybe
burning.
come here?
Yeah.
That is stressful though, because have you ever been with someone who's working a puppet?
No. So this is, so we heard that like
It's
basically what it
stressful.
is it's like they can go for like 25, 30 minutes at a time and then they need a short break.
It's stressful.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless everyone who works puppets. It's amazing, but it's intense.
Yeah.
Right.
Where do you look?
Right.
I guess you look at the puppet.
I'm going to have no problem looking right into Miss Piggy's eyes. I'm telling you, I'm committing so hard.
Okay, you'll be great.
I
I'll be
might
good.
cry though, because I feel the same sort of cosmic connection to her that you're talking about, which is that I'm like, she was my first glimpse into old Hollywood, into like, and she's like modeled after those actresses, and
She's modeled after like Peggy Lee, right?
Right,
yeah.
Peggy Lee.
Lee.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, and she was also kind of like in drag a little bit. She
Yeah.
had like a
Yeah.
real vibe of like costumes and you always were going into her world and it was like satin and she was very feminine, but
She's a showgirl.
she was a show.
She was the last showgirl with Pamela Anderson.
I just think she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And pigs have newly become my favorite animal.
Oh, really? And a lot of cultures, pigs are really, really revered.
Revered.
Yes.
Yeah.
So smart.
Are they one of the smart ones? Yes.
Smart,
Very
clean.
smart.
So I'm like in this new kick where I'm finding out about how deep the intelligence of certain animals goes. Like I went in on
yeah.
elephants the other day, and now I'll never be the same.
I know.
Did you know that octopuses decorate their homes?
What?
So the next time you go to like, I don't know, someplace on Larchmont and they're serving up a grilled puss,
No
just know
way.
that puss was a decorator. He was an
That was
interior
Nate
decorator.
Burkus.
It's
That was
so
the
many
Nate
arms.
Burkus of the seas.
That's so many
you
arms.
might be eating the Nate and Jeremiah of the seas.
Those
And
arms
then what?
can put up so much shiplap so fast.
Did I tell you my mom has revealed how obsessed she is with Nate and Jeremiah? Do you
Nate
watch
and
Nate and
Jeremiah,
Jeremiah?
incredible.
Nate and Jeremiah. My mom, my dad was talking to me about
Queer Eye?
I was on the phone with them and my mom was talking. My mom started watching Queer Eye,
Mhm.
and she was like, because Jeremiah joined,
Yeah, of
and
course.
now
He's
Jeremiah's
been an
in the Queer Eye.
incredible addition.
And my dad says to me on the phone, "Your mother is beaming ear to ear harder than I've ever seen her talking about Jeremiah Brent right now. She loves him."
They also decorate in this beautiful aesthetic of that does feel like how do I put this? Like no one will ever live there.
No. Like the tiling that they put in. Like I watched like when someone is just like, yeah, so we ripped out the floors. I'm like,
What are you
shut
talking
up.
about?
Like, and all respect, but I'm like, I could never be like, I want to rip out these floors. I want to reupholster.
No.
I don't know what that word means.
It's hard. And also that and also there is something about I love interior design.
Do you?
I love it. It's kind of like I don't want to say a hobby, but I love
Doing
working
things.
with people
Well,
and making
I mean,
spaces
you-
and looking
making it.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
And I love looking at like magazines and looking at stuff online. And I find just like what people think is comfortable
Yeah.
is so subjective. It's just
Yeah.
so subjective. And for me, the eye must rest. My eye must rest.
Got it.
So there was like an organizing show where it was like, what kind of organizer are you? So let me ask you this.
Okay.
There's 4 different ways, and I'm going to butcher this. But do you like a room where there's a open shelf and like, your plates and cups and everything, you can see them?
Floating? No way.
Sure.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
but sorry. I'm
floating,
sorry.
yeah.
I'll let you do.
Okay,
go
right.
through
So
all
there's
of them.
one where you're like floating shelf and cups and dishes there, organized
Visible.
well, but visible.
Sure.
One where they're behind a cabinet, organized behind a cabinet. And then those are 2 options. And then also, do you like to have? Let's say you're putting away your important piece of paper.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to have it in a drawer where you throw it in a drawer and it's worth all the important papers? Or do you want to have, and you'll organize it later? Or do you want to have a place that it lives every time?
That one.
I see.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't like looking at cupboards. I don't like looking at cupboards and shelves. I think I'm SOL
Some
for the place
people
I just
like
moved
to see their stuff, and some people like to not see their stuff.
I think it could be interesting to see my stuff.
I am going to be the not see your stuff school, because if one thing is off on the floating shelf and it's out on display, it's going to bug the shit out of me. And I'm going to be, well, this is like, I'm never going to feel, I'm going to have that itch in my brain the entire time I'm looking at it.
Yes. And what about countertops, tables? Do they need to be clear?
They pretty much have to be clear.
Yeah.
You've
he
been to
has
my
such a
place.
strong aesthetic. I mean, I keep telling him that he should get AD over to his place because it's so cute and cool.
Get a product line going, Bowen.
Of like
housewares.
Yeah. What about you? When are you doing it?
Would love to do that.
What? Come on, everybody.
No, it's too. Well, you know what? I'm going to take my own advice. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Wait, to do what?
But what would
to just have a housewares
have like a
line.
housewares line?
Okay, wait.
But
Your
could have a
conversation
housewares
with
line.
Tina about this?
Yeah.
Don't you think
I
Bowen also
think
should
she-
open eyeglasses?
I've been trying to get Tina to make money off of eyeglasses for her entire life.
But she refuses the side hustle.
She doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I understand. I respect it. She only do what you want to do.
Right.
But you could do it too, Bowen.
I don't know. I'm of the same mind as Tina. I'm like, what? You know?
Or no, or
You're
did she
like,
get
what
in your
is
head
it?
because she said it?
No, I've always thought the same thing.
Mhm.
Like, there's no practical reason for me to do that. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna sell socks,
only do it-
jerseys.
yeah.
I'm selling it all.
Whatever,
I'm doing
honey.
whatever. I'm
Yeah.
just sweatshirt with my face.
I put my name on the plastic water bottles, whatever. No, yeah, only if you'd be into the design and into the aesthetic of it. But
Yeah.
something aesthetic would be interesting and fun to work on.
Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this space.
I can see it for you. I think you're a huge brand.
Yes,
Bowen.
I completely agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I don't know, y'all.
I completely agree. But at least get AD into that house and get them to walk around and put
It
your
would be
bowl of
fun.
limes. Show them your bowl of
My bowl of limes.
The bowl
my
of
Dakota Johnson
limes,
bowl of
yeah.
limes.
Wait, who was the bowl of limes again?
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson.
I
Incredible.
I love limes.
I love
I
limes.
love
too.
limes.
I love limes.
And then
I
she-
actually do.
But she said I love limes, and then afterwards she was like, I don't know why I said that. I
Yeah,
hate
no,
them.
she revealed
Right.
later she doesn't know. She does. She was like a joke. Wait, now I'm actually thinking because they say like just think of some images that you like and like things that you'd want to see around your house. I actually would love limes. I
Yes,
like limes.
Limes are so good. Or how about this? A bowl of artichokes.
Oh,
If
I
you-
like artichoke.
If you put artichokes in a bowl, you're a billionaire.
A billion.
Really?
Yes.
I guess that is what that means.
If you put 3 artichokes in a silver bowl,
You're
you're
Elon
you're
Musk.
done.
I've always wanted to have bananas on the table.
Of course, you can do that.
Nothing's stopping you.
You can do that.
You can do that
You
today.
can do that.
But yeah, I don't think you. I don't think you understand what my
You can
living
do that
situation
today.
has been like. It's only now that I'm like
Yeah, very 7. Okay, we need to root it down.
super
We
seven.
need
Like
to root
my
it
life
down.
has been so 7. It's been so like LA, New York, LA, New York. Like where
Yeah.
can I go next? Coachella again this weekend.
Right.
I'm exhausted.
Living out of a suitcase.
Yeah, very that. And I can't. The 7 has to.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
The 7 has to go to a 9. Peacemaker.
Your space has to be. Your space is important.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It is.
What is your most interior designy motif in the house?
Yeah.
I love right now my house is a California ranch. So I do like that kind of a tiny bit of what would you call it? Like what's the very austere religion where Quaker.
Quaker.
There's a tiny bit of Quaker craft. Like I like a wood, a wood bench with like a patterned cushion.
Yeah.
I like a nice patterned rug with like a black sofa. I like warm tone chairs that match a warm tone table with like an amber light fixture. I like a bit more masculine in
It's
my
coming
was
at you
gonna
so
say-
naturally, and it's very masculine.
I literally, what I said to the guy who's doing my apartment is I was like, I want it to be like masculine but light. You know what I mean?
Masculine can sometimes be like too much like steel.
Like that's what I'm
and
saying.
whatever,
Not
and
that.
it's-
You know the
no.
word I said? Redford.
Ooh.
Like it's kind of just like it's giving like not denim, but like warm masculine like wood.
Yes.
But with like little light blue denim-y touches. Like because they say look in your closet, and that's like a hint as to what you might want to like look like.
And I'm leaning lately less mid-century and more like a little bit like worn and waspy. I'm trying to do more antique and flea pieces than new pieces.
But your masculine is callback Alan Alda.
My masculine is Alan Alda.
Whoa.
Like
groovy 70s.
Groovy
sweet.
70s, sweet, loves his wife.
Because mid-century is kind of done. Don't you feel like everyone was doing mid-century?
Sure.
Once like Dwell came out and it was like,
what is that?
Dwell magazine?
Oh.
Like, and everything was very like weird table and like, everything got a little too mid-century. And it's very LA.
Totally.
Mid-century.
Well, the first apartment I ever got, I walked into West Elm, and the first thing I said was, "Does it look like I don't belong here?" Because I thought like it was for fancy people, and they said, "No, what are you talking about? We'll help you." And so because I'm colorblind and have no taste, I was like, I guess I like this, and I just pointed to a display, and they were like, "You like just this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I like this for my living room." They're like, "You don't want to change anything?" I go, yeah, the rug. Well, which rug would you like? That one. And that's what happened.
Great.
But they're not supposed to make you feel that way.
No, they didn't. Moment. They were so beautiful and lovely.
I think you're telling an old story about yourself. I think you do have a sense of style.
I'm colorblind.
I know a lot of men are. A lot of men are.
Like that's
sorry.
What do you mean that doesn't?
I was gonna say that doesn't. I don't think that correlates to taste or style. Or
I've
aesthetic.
been very malleable in my settings. Like I'm subletting something in New York right now, and the guy has like a crazy pink gallery wall with all sorts of different colorful pictures on it. And I've just been like, yeah, I live here and I like it. And I have no idea whether or not I do or don't.
That's a sublet reality.
Yes,
I'm the one that's asking him like, what are the spaces that you like? Where do you feel comfortable? And I'm literally like, you should think of your favorite restaurant at Disney World.
I love being everywhere. I love being in a sushi place. I love being in a Mexican spot in Epcot.
Yeah. But like, do you like I like things to feel nice.
Yes.
I love texture. So I have these 2 chairs in my living room that are upholstered with like that really fuzzy like
yes, the fuzzy stuff.
Fuzzy stuff.
He's
like
got that.
And why I like is when I walk by them, I like always touch
you pet them, but they're a nightmare to
them.
clean.
Oh, but that's okay. This isn't. You're not going to be worried about cleaning.
I'm covered in buffalo sauce most of the time. I didn't tell you
You're
that.
gonna eat it on the thing.
We ran through my financials. I forgot about like 98% of it is buffalo sauce. I have so much buffalo sauce on all my shit.
You know what you should do? Just do one room. Just do one room. Like, what would be your version of a nice room?
Yeah.
One room.
That's great.
Just one room.
See, what I love is like also like I love when I go to someone's house like in the suburbs and the living room is like the beach and the bathroom is the ocean. And that's just what it is. It's like almost every suburban house is like, my bathroom is the bottom of the sea.
I know.
And there's seashells.
Well, I always say people's houses, people either want to tell you where they've been or where they are.
Oh,
one or the other.
They never tell you where they're going.
So it's like, where have I been? I've like have African masks and I have, saris and I have like all this stuff that I've collected. Or we are in Denver, baby, and you're going to know it. You're going to know that we are in Colorado. Like it's one or the other.
Yep. Well, I think Matt has a lot to work with in terms of where he's been and where he
Agree.
is.
One thing I don't want to do is a lot of gay guys, like in their first apartments, they have a big gay picture.
Yes.
Like of someone's tricep
Yeah.
or like someone laying on the beach and it's just like this part of someone's
yeah,
body.
yeah.
I think I can forego big gay picture.
That like Art Deco picture.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That I don't think is me.
It'll be on an IKEA thing in like 10 years, perhaps.
And never sleep on a plant and a mirror.
See, plants have been something I never interacted with. And I love a mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
A mirror and a plant
Mirror and a plant.
can change your life.
A mirror and a plant and it creates a large space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
there's like AI now that you can put your room in and it'll tell you all this stuff. It's incredible.
Damn, AI.
Yeah.
We're gonna fix that with the.
People should know that that
big conversation.
we are. Have you already spoken about it on the pod?
No, we haven't. So we've heard you guys say that our new profile image for Las Culturistas, I am out of focus. I do see it. I do think it is a striking picture. It's one of my favorite photos that Bowen and I have taken. And I'm hesitant to change it because Bowen looks so insanely good in it.
You can't.
But I think I look good. It's just that I'm out of focus.
I think it's chic.
I think this is a really interesting experiment about how we see ourselves and how do we want people to see us?
Yeah.
Yes. But I think it's also a statement on depth. And you are getting depth because this side of your face is it is in focus and then this side isn't.
Yeah, my right eye is in focus.
But don't you deserve to be in focus?
I think I do.
You do.
Don't you?
Absolutely.
See, doesn't one deserve to be in focus?
I'm bringing my 4 energy into this. I'm like being academic about a lot of things.
And also it's an incredible picture of you.
It is such a good picture.
Thank you.
And it's a great picture of you too. But I mean, I would try to get in focus.
Mm-hmm.
But you had said maybe AI can get you in focus, and you were saying, I don't know if I want that.
Because I don't want to necessarily support AI.
Right.
But then again, at this point, it's like we have to just kind of like succumb.
Throw our hands up.
It's too late.
This
is all AI. Everything. This is all made of AI. Everything is artificial.
I've been AI for 9 years.
This is going to be HI, human. We are about to go into I Don't Think So, Honey.
Yeah, this is the human intelligence part of the podcast. This is I Don't Think So, Honey. This is, in fact, our 60-second segment where we sort of tear up culture. And, I've realized something. I was on the drive home with Patrick Rogers, come back from Coachella, and a motorcyclist went by us really fast. And Patrick said, his mom's nurse, and said, my mom saw the gnarliest things from motorcyclists. And that was her one rule. You're never getting on a motorcycle because what I've seen in the ER. Yeah. And one other thing, and this is what
this is all the preamble. I thought you were going to do something.
That was just the preamble.
Oh my God, exciting. Okay.
This is Matt Rogers. I Don't Think So, Honey. His time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Trampolines. You don't need it. Like, honestly, your kids don't need to be up that high.
You're right.
What I would say is get I don't know, get a room, like a matted room. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a trampoline, you can afford a trampoline, you probably have like a playroom or a designated area where the kids go, pat it like a cell, have the kids toss themselves all around the room. That is better than trampolines. And also, let me tell you something about people who have trampolines. You're also good old days people. Like, in the good old days, we could who cared about the nets on the trampoline? I could ride my bike to Connecticut. You know what? I don't care. The good old days stuff is problematic. Like, protect your children. Don't even get me started on zip lines.
15 seconds.
You'll have some people with zip lines, like from one tree to the other in their own backyard. My dad made one for us, and we had a trampoline. And I'm looking back thinking, I'm glad I have my neck. I don't think so, honey. When I want to say what my dad said to me to you, when I was little, I used to play with a stick to get the screens out, get the trampolines out there, just give the kid a stick, have him run around in the yard or in a padded cell. And also enough with the video games because your brains are melting.
And that's one.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Well, it's a minute and 15.
Well, wow.
I let my sister go. It's okay.
I feel like the trampoline culture.
You lost the teens at the end with the video games.
I mean, sure, but I think I lost the teens so long ago.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
We'll get them back.
The teens are all about the slang has been video games with Gen Alpha and Gen Z, like side quests and NPCs. It's like this is permeating the culture with them in a way that I'm like, y'all, but we all should develop a video game vocabulary on the basics.
And I agree with you about trampolines.
Yes.
None of my childhood memories include jumping on them.
Right.
None of my good childhood memories. You know what I mean? I'm not
broken bones.
Yeah,
you know where you're going to end up? The pit.
The pit.
And
you're
going
to end up in the
place
pit.
to be.
And the wait time is long.
Is that part of the show?
Long wait times. There's a bed shortage. Oh, it's a mess.
Dear God.
It's a mess. It's stressful, but it's real time, no scoring, grounded acting.
I couldn't believe it this morning. Like when Patrick was like, yeah, my mom said it's insane what you watch happens to the human body on motorcycles. And then he was like, and trampolines. And I was like, don't even keep going. I can't.
If you're going to ride a motorcycle.
Bone breaks on kids.
Right. If you're going to ride a motorcycle, and this sounds a little insensitive, at least go on the donor list.
Well, yeah.
At least make it
on the donor
useful
list
for society. So am I.
Of course.
Of course.
I mean,
come on, cut me open.
Get on the. Cut me open and take this stuff. Some of this stuff is good in here.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff's still good.
These eyes?
Oh, honey.
Someone should have them.
I was noticing them. Are we giving gray blue?
Well, you know what? I think we are. We're giving
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, that was mine.
That was incredible. Wow. This is hard to do this third, I just have to say, because you guys are so good at this.
No, we're setting you up for success.
Oh, yeah.
And I want you to chime in on mine after I'm done.
Okay,
or during.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Okay. So this is.
Have you ever done someone's, then you've done what they were going to do?
No, never.
I was sweating.
Oh.
Yours, because I have a little bit of crossover, tiny bit.
Okay.
Oh, really?
That's good.
Nothing
That's
bad.
good.
Nothing bad.
Thematically tied. Okay.
Here is Bowen Yang's I Don't Think So, Honey. His time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Standards and practices. We should be able to say at least 5 shits and 5 fucks on SNL per season.
Oh!
Because after this whole Ego Wodem, Miss Eggy, because these men ain't what shit moment. First of all, favorite moment in televised history ever.
Incredible.
Second of all, we are so hampered in our comedy at SNL by not being able to say shit and fuck. Celeste and I talk about this all the time. Let us say shit and fuck. Like, it's us, it's Abbott, it's Ghosts. We're the last network comedies.
Seconds.
It's like can you give SNL an exception, an exemption? Like, if we're dismantling the FCC because of Trump, like, can one boon, can one silver lining be that we get to say shit and fuck? And I'm even 15. Keeping it to an allotted 5 and 5 shits, 5 fucks. It would bring a sketch to the next level. It would make it so that you would be able to like know, oh, this is the real world. It's not a heightened sketch reality. Shit and fuck are so comedically powerful as words. I really think it would help us.
And that's 1 minute.
Yes.
So were they intense about that? Like, did the hammer come down?
I don't think anything came down, which I love. And Ego was like, no, like
that
I
was
didn't hear anything.
Hilarious.
So funny.
I mean,
but don't you agree? Wouldn't it have been this much more fun?
And I'm going to say, NBC, I think you can monetize this.
Yes.
Why don't you have a competition and people can vote like American Idol as to which cast member gets to say the shit and fuck?
Oh my God.
So you can be
Marcelo
like, if you want Bowen to say it, text 0032 on your phone and let Bowen say it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or if you want to monetize it in a way that is like, I don't know, like GoFundMe coded, like just have a fundraiser for our FCC fines. Like just help us cover our fines for the 5 shits and the 5 fucks that we get to say.
100%.
You know who should get to say it? Like, whenever he decides to stop, Keenan on his last episode, the whole 90 minutes should just be him saying whatever the fuck.
Well, you could treat it like vacation days. You
Yes.
don't use it and it rolls over to
Casual
the next
Friday.
year. And then you get to say 10 of them.
That's so
exactly.
nice.
Casual Saturday Night Live.
Rack them up.
I really like that. I never understood, and I don't understand, because you can say dick on the show.
May I offer one small counterpoint?
Yes, please.
I do think there's something fun about not being able to say it.
Yes.
That causes comedic tension.
Of course.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So the air may be let out of that balloon when you do, and you might not get the
juice that you wanted to squeeze.
You want it because you can't have it.
I also feel like shit's not even really a curse word anymore. Come on.
True.
Like, over time, it's like, who is actually bothered if their kid says shit?
Right.
Who is actually bothered?
Right.
Fuck, I understand, is one thing. It's like, it's a, I guess, still a little taboo. But like, shit and ass.
Well, it's
Give
the
me a
thing.
break.
You can say ass, you can't say asshole.
Yeah.
You can say taint, but you can't. No, you can say taint because it's a part of the body.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh.
We've had standards notes on this.
You can say taint.
You can say taint, but you can't say like
taint hole,
gooch or whatever. You know what I mean? Gooch. Because it's like it's not anatomically precise.
Unless the musical guest is named Gooch. And then you can say,
Once
ladies
again,
and gentlemen, Gooch. Once again, Gooch.
That would be a hack. Anyway, that's my thought.
Oh my God, that's a good one. Okay.
This is a
I
moment
took
in
some
time.
notes.
Listen.
Okay, is that okay?
Yes, of course it's okay. The greats
let me
have
see.
taken
Let me
notes.
see.
Look at your notes.
All right, I'm ready.
So this is Amy Poehler's I Don't Think So, Honey. Her time starts now.
Okay, I don't think so, honey. Horror movies.
Okay.
Life is scary enough. I do not need to unlock a new fear.
No.
I have a very active amygdala. I have a decent amount of empathy. I do not want to watch a young couple have to eat their own eyeballs to get out of a locked room. Okay, and don't tell me that it's about the rush of being in the same room with people and feeling social. Because if you want to get that kind of like social bonding, you need to go to church.
30 seconds.
Not a horror movie. And by the way, church is another thing that I don't go to anymore as an adult because I've realized it's not for me. There's 3 things that shorten your life. Motorcycles.
Yes.
Agree with you.
15 seconds.
Smoking. And violent images.
Yes.
And then lastly, this also means pranks. No pranks. A jump scare and a prank is a hate crime.
5 seconds.
If you prank me, that means you hate me. The only devil that I want to see on the screen is the one that wears Prada.
Thank you. And that's 1 minute. Excellent. I am with you.
Every word.
So hard. I went to go see the movie Drop.
No.
No.
Never.
But can I say I advocate for this movie because it wasn't that, and this is in all positivity, it wasn't that scary. It was a thrilling, suspenseful,
not violent.
movie.
You're talking about violent images.
No.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
I don't like any kind of scare. No scare.
When people die in a movie, it's sad.
The world is too scary. The news is rough. I cannot handle my nervous system cannot handle it. And I could never handle it. And I just want to say this. I did participate in pranks at one point in my life. The patriarchy comes for all of us.
Yeah.
We all but I apologize and I have listened and learned and no more pranks for me.
Honestly, we don't prank each other.
We don't prank.
Have we ever pranked each other?
No, and I want to say
I would never do that to you.
This is a real call out. There were some Instagram accounts, Diet Prada did a whole April Fool's thing of like, this is the casting of the Britney Spears biopic, Ariana Grande, Troye Sivan, and people thought it was real. And I'm like, April Fools, let's just
no more April Fools.
Button it down,
no more.
Ship it out.
Right now, we can't afford it.
No,
we can't. We can't
because people really don't know anymore what's
Yes.
real and what's fake, and so to have a whole day of like fake as like
No.
But like when you look at the movies, it's like what do you want to see? The Gorge or Baby in the Basket? It's like
there's a
it's like
whole.
am I like is this a punishment?
Well, yes. I mean, it's literally punished. I think well, there's a whole community of people whose whole thing is like, I'm going to go watch these movies where like with the final girl of it all.
I know.
I was that means at least 6 or 7 young women are dead.
No.
I hate when people
Absolutely
die.
not.
You ever see the movie Zodiac?
I did.
See, tough for me because there's that one horrible scene.
I know.
Where he comes and murders the couple in broad daylight.
I know.
Are you kidding me?
And then it's also real.
Yeah, it
happened.
It happened. God. Why do we have to make everything a movie about everything that happens?
True crime is so nasty.
Why do we have to make, if it was bad and it happened, let's not make a movie
We
about
can
it.
read about it.
We can read about it. We can listen to podcasts about it.
See, but the podcasts are even worse sometimes because then it's like it's all happening in your head.
You fill in the gaps.
But the images.
Yes.
But
No, the images
is this
are
how you feel
horrible.
about true crime?
Okay, so I had a moment, a true crime moment, because I'm a white lady of a certain age. So I did have a true crime moment, but I can't watch anything.
I see.
I can read
Okay.
or listen, but I can't watch anything
Right.
that's about true crime. Like any of those even softy stuff, like softball stuff, like I cannot watch it.
Does softy stuff count as, does like cult stuff count as softy stuff?
Cult?
A cult documentary. let's
Well,
say.
that one isn't as bad, but I don't understand people that join cults.
Right.
I can't relate.
Even as
This
an
is-
Enneagram 7.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have a high cult susceptibility.
I'm probably the closest.
I
but
mean,
I don't get it either.
I did like the one with the
Love is one.
yeah, because Mother is Resting is when she asked for the chicken parmesan.
I was just gonna say, and this is my. He
can't.
hasn't watched it, but I'm like, my
I
selling
can't.
point to him is like, there's this whole segment in an episode where they go through her recipes, like galactic taco salad.
She's like, I asked for the chicken parmesan.
She's screaming at these people like, "Where's my chicken pie?" Like, it's amazing.
And the term "Mother is Resting" is incredible.
I just
but
didn't
she's
like.
talking in wingdings.
right,
Yeah.
it's wing.
And everyone is sitting by her bed, and it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's tough.
I just didn't want to see. I when I heard she was like actually dead and blue in the first scene, I was like, that was really hard for me.
See that. That was
to
hard
wrap
for
my
me.
head around watching.
Yeah, cults are tough. But when a woman's in charge, it's a little bit more fun.
That is why it's fun.
I even get scared of like urban legends and conspiracy theories.
Also, like when I was a kid, no spooky stories. I didn't like being scared. I do not like that feeling.
Oh, there was a show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? This was on Nickelodeon when I was a kid, and there was one episode with Tia and Tamara who I loved, where one of them was the storyline was one of them gets like cursed and turns into a lizard, and then the lizard becomes the other one. So like, it was this crazy situation where
was it scary?
One of them was a lizard and one of them was a real girl, and they were played by Tia and Tamara. Tia was like real, and Tamara was like the lizard who had become a human. And their best friend, who they shared, was like had to spray one of them with a hose, and the one they sprayed would turn into a lizard. And the girls were like, "It's me, Tiffany! It's me! You know it's me!" And she was like, "Tiffany, don't you remember the times we would have at recess? You do." And then she was like, and it became a thing where she sprayed the one. There's a huge hug. The last scene of is, we'll say it's Tia has picked up the other lizard and goes, like, literally, she didn't say this, it was Nickelodeon, but she was basically like, "Bye, bitch," and threw her down a well, crushed her. And that was the real one.
Terrifying.
And that was children's entertainment.
That aired after Sesame Street.
That literally, they expected me as a child of the 90s to hold both these things. That like Miss Piggy is queen, and also like Tia and Tamara are at each other's fucking throats. One of them would see the other one dead, crushed at the bottom of a well. And that was like children's entertainment.
Oh my God.
And the Goosebumps books. Fuck off.
Enough.
Fuck off. No more.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
R.L.
guys.
Stein. He was around UCB for a while. You know that?
Oh, he was?
He came to a lot of ass cats.
He came
yeah.
to, he was like, he was. I remember one time I was going in maybe to do mod night.
Did you get goosebumps when he came in?
Well, I think it was like he had been part of like a spank or something. Or like something was happening.
Which was the name of a show.
Which is the name of a show, yes.
We were coming in to do mod night and they were like,
"Everybody calm down.
Stein is here." Yeah, this is where it gets inside base.
We had a spank. We had a fun spank.
Oh my
did.
God.
We got to run.
We got to run out of it.
Oh, you did? You had a spank run?
Bo gave us a run.
Bo gave us a run.
Pop Roulette's Amazing Earth.
Nice.
Maybe that's on YouTube.
Maybe it's on YouTube. Well, damn. This
is so fun.
It was a good hang.
It was a good hang.
Congrats on having the most successful podcast in the landscape.
Thank you. I hope someday you'll want to do it.
We will want to do it.
Okay,
Come
great.
on.
It would be my absolute joy if I could
You've
do it
been
with you.
killing it. And I mean, truly.
Any advice? We talked about advice before we leave. Any advice for me?
Don't change a thing about it.
Okay.
The reason we've done this for so long is because it's basically formally the same thing as episode 1. Don't add too many bells and whistles. I was going to say what you've innovated on in the podcast is starting out with that panel discussion with the people who know your guests. I'm like, that's so damn
really fun.
smart.
Thanks.
And just keep it exactly the same. Don't change a thing.
Don't overthink it. Don't
overthink it. And also don't there's probably, well, it's different because over time we accumulated more people because we started as like, doing our own thing.
Comedy thing.
You started it and immediately it was like the like, everyone came and started listening. But over time, people started to have like notes for it. And that's when you're like, oh, that's because everyone's going to want something different from it. So I would just say like, keep it fun for you. And like, everyone's going to want something different for it. Like, I like it when it's people from SNL, or like, I want it like when it's this, or I like when it's like anecdotes or this, like, just keep having fun.
Stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
Just listen to
the most boring advice ever.
No, but it's true. Listen to your instinct. What is your space? True. Redford.
Yeah, Redford.
Alan Alda.
And Alan Alda. 70s Queens.
70s Queens. Well, we end every episode with a song.
Oh, what is the song? It comes.
It's coming. Hold on.
We just did Bad Romance, but so we can't do it again. It never takes this long.
Hello, hello, baby, you called, I can't hear a thing. I've got no service in the club, you say. What did you say? Oh, you're breaking up on me. Sorry, I cannot hear you. I'm kind of busy.
Kind of busy. Maybe Beyonce will come out this weekend when we're there.
Shit.
Ooh.
Bye.
Bye.
Las Culturistas is a production by Will Ferrell's Big Money Players and iHeartRadio podcasts.
Created and hosted by Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. Executive produced by Anna Hosnier and Hans Sani.
Produced by Becca Ramos. Edited and mixed by Doug Babe and Monique Laborde.
And our music is by Henry Kapersky.